Welcome to the afternoon session, the one where you're going to feel a lot drowsy, and probably the only speaker on stage who's completely dressed in informal clothing. So, scaling a tech enterprise. Now, I know that we have a diverse audience. In fact, we probably have our youngest entrepreneurs in the crowd too. You know? Yeah, there you go. And there's a guitar player. And there you are. What's your name? Furkan. All right. So my job is to ensure that I'm addressing the entire audience. And as part of the entire audience, it is my responsibility to ensure that the talk is not so heavy that you all really enjoy your afternoon sleep, and that the talk is interesting enough for all ages, all genders, all occupations. So, for those people who probably are not related in any way to anything in the talk, enjoy the pictorial puns on the word scale. Okay? So, it's very important for me to ensure that we are focused about what we are going to talk about. When we are talking about scale, it's important that we realize a product scale in technology. Now, it's very easy for me to talk about a very complex microservice architecture built over Kubernetes and gRPC, scaled over GKE Amazon services, as well as trying to get in SAP modules and bring up a microservices mind map, which is going to guarantee that everyone in this room sleeps. This is exactly what I'm not going to talk about. What I am indeed going to talk about is the enterprise part of technology. But first things first, my pictorial puns on my name. I always get this, people trying to get my name and surname right. To remember my name, everyone remembers Batman. And Batman from which city? It's Gotham with a twist, Gotham. And my surname, which music genre is this? Reggae music? Yeah, my surname is Reggae. So Gotham Reggae. So, welcome to this talk. Now, let's get technical. Again, before that, I have been told by my sales team sitting there somewhere, that dude, yeah, if you're giving a talk, at least talk about your company. Right? So my company is Josh, and Josh means enthusiasm and passion. I'm an accomplished author. I've written a couple of books, and we work a lot in open source technologies. And among a lot of the open source technologies, our 400 people team is given the freedom to choose whichever technology they want to, as long as they can create value for their customer. Now, a technology enterprise is either a product or a service. I remember in the startup pitches, a question being asked, are you a product company or a services company? It's always the scale which tips the balance in this. Because the success factors for companies, for product companies, are gauged differently. You need how many users are you acquiring? What kind of intellectual property have you built? Are you able to scale data? Are you able to scale users? What is your requests per second? Annual revenue, recurring revenue, all these kind of things. But for a services company, the scale is entirely different. What's your top line? What's your EBITDA? How many employees do you have? What is the revenue per employee productivity? You're also looking into things like, are people happy? Are all your stakeholders happy? You're looking into things like, are you all ahead of the technology curve? Are you boring people with old stack, new technology, old wine in a new bottle? And that's all what technology is about. But can you all answer this question for yourself? Are you a product or a services company? If you actually have an answer, here's the first myth that I want to bust. There is no such thing. Every product company requires really good service, and every service is a product offering. Once we get this kind of a mentality, a mental makeup, that I have to look at everything as a product and a service, I'm going to take the next step forward in the right direction. Now, taking the next step forward is like scaling up an army. Business information systems are not what you're offering to your customers. Business information systems are the systems, the processes, the standard operating procedures, the tools that you're using in your company to ensure that the product offering or the service offering that you have is scalable. Now, these are all the different kinds of tools that are required for all kinds of collaboration. And this, by the way, is probably just a fraction of the names that you hear about. If you actually go to the list, there are probably about 500 to 1,000 startups, accomplished companies, large enterprises which do all this work. However, there are very few players in the market today. One of them is here, our sponsors, Zoho. But how many of y'all are usually on Google or Microsoft? Or let's have a show of hands. Who is not using Google Business or Microsoft Teams? You'll probably come on stage with me here because I will applaud you for it. But that is the business risk we all take. Wait, did I say business risk? Because if you are up till 300 people, I know the slide says 500. If you are up to 300 people, the Community Cloud Edition for both Microsoft Teams and Google Cloud is really affordable. If your company vision, your company goals are set to a level where you do not want to increase the people, you want to ensure that you're always going to be about 100, 150, 200, 250 at most, till the rest of the hair on your head disappears. I see a smile there. Somebody's beat me to that hair loss. But if you've set your goals there, you're absolutely good with the Google and the Microsoft Teams of the world. I'm absolutely fine with that. If you're already an enterprise, which is above 3,000 people, if you're a multi-billion-dollar company, you're working in a multi-billion-dollar company, you already have, maybe a $70 million, $80 million budget. At that time, these companies like Google and Microsoft are probably having a relationship manager in your company to sort out all your needs. There is no problem at all. But then, of course, the big question does arise. What happens when we want to scale from maybe 300 to 3,000? But you all must be wondering, why is this joker on stage saying 300 but has a slide of 500? The reason is sales, marketing, negotiations. You are always going to very easily upgrade your 300 to 500 very easily with all your local vendors for Google and Microsoft. But the reason they do that is to hook you. The moment you are hooked at a particular scale, there is no backing out. You're going to live with them. Once you cross that particular limit, you're going to reach a scale of people where they're going to come and tell you, you know what, you have to move to the enterprise edition. And the enterprise edition per user may go upwards of 10 times the cost of a single user. So if you're spending maybe a few dollars, you're going to spend tens of dollars per user. This, ladies and gentlemen, is typically a tipping point, or what I call a breaking point for any technical enterprise, any technology enterprise. Now, do you want to accept that as a ground reality? Or are there options? I am here to not come and tell you how to run your business. I am here to tell you all to think about it, to plan ahead to ensure that there are other options available. The cloud hybrid approach, where you could have either investigate these things, you could have your CIO or a business information person look into this and evaluate if it's the right direction. Again, I am not trying to undermine I'm not trying to bring down the big few people, but it is something that you need to think about. Open source tools are available, which will help you host on-premise, which will help you ensure that you have everything that you are able to do. Now, I'm not saying don't have a Google account or a Zoom account or a Microsoft Teams account, but you can leave that only with the business development team. But internally in your organization, if you want to scale, these are a few options which are available to you. They will allow you with entire authentication, authorization, and the beauty of it is if you don't want to get stuck with the situation that I'm already building a product and service and generating revenue from it, are you telling me now I have to look after my own systems? I have to hire a team for that? They have a partner ecosystem which will help you install, maintain, and set this up for you on your terms. Now, therein lies a solution. Along with the setup for collaboration, security is the key. A lot of us, I hope, we've had talks on security and cyber security, but I hope if you all are not aware of the word zero trust, please look it up. Please get your teams in your offices, in your companies to look up zero trust security. This is not about a VPN. A VPN is long obsolete. A VPN is old school. You want to use zero trust security not just to ensure that people have right access to it. It's about people, devices, and even services. By service, I mean that you have to reach a position, you have to understand today that there could be a rogue service which is started behind your firewall within your ecosystem, which is actually stealing data, manipulating data. I mean, without taking any names, we are all aware of countries and their espionage network, which has planted in rogue services to make a nuclear reactor think it's failing. So zero trust security is not just about VPN. It's about authentication, authorization of people, devices, and services. Along with this, you need to ensure that you have all these mobile devices, your laptops, your phones, to be enabled such that you can control them remotely. The logos that you see on the screen, I don't endorse any single one of them, and I don't endorse all of them. You're free to look at whichever one suits your needs. Some are proprietary, some are open source. The third one is ensuring that your systems are resilient. Ensure you have proper backups, disaster recovery systems, continuous data protection. This is going to ensure that your business information systems are ready for business continuity. Now, along with security, one of the things that we very frequently miss out on is observability. And I do not mean how to lose weight. I mean looking into systems which are ensuring that all the services of yours, your customers, are actually being handled properly. Logging, monitoring, site reliability, telemetrics, API telemetrics. Really, really important. Now, along with hybrid collaboration tools in-house, along with the right security tools and along with observability, brings about operational efficiency. Once you have an operationally efficient ecosystem within your enterprise, scaling up is not a problem. So scaling up an operational enterprise could be with centralized operations. Do not have a lot of people working out of a lot of different places. It can create more complexity. If people are working out of multiple places, ensure that you have a very comprehensive management information system. That means I have good dashboards. I can see what people are working on. And of course, any technology enterprise is still an enterprise. Ensure that you have tight financial control. One example that I would like to highlight is a company in India called Quick Insure. It's an insurtech company which does a lot of insurance policies, running 35,000 plus agents across India from a single office with only 75 employees. Entirely digital, no cash management. Everything is tech-enabled, with their systems running internally. They're able to scale. This 35,000 can very easily become 350,000, and it will still run smoothly. In the end, I would say, you always want to run your company like your family. Yes, when you are 400 people, people are probably invariably going to say, Gautam, this is not a family, or you should have thought of family planning long back. A family of 400, a family of 4,000, I say. Because a tech enterprise can only be very interesting if you're going to keep a lot of things there. Things like hackathons, things where you have innovation, where you are bringing in the families. And the most important factor, how many of y'all in the audience can truly say these 3 words about yourself? I know that everyone in this room is in a leadership position. Can you say this to yourself and let it percolate down your enterprise? This is something that I'd like all of you all to repeat after me. I am awesome. Can you all say that aloud with me? 1, 2, 3. I didn't hear Furkan say it. Can you say this? I am awesome. Thank you. This is the interesting part. My wife makes me say this every day. Say 3 good things about me. And I'm like, you know what? Say 3 new good things about me. Every day. At one particular time, I'm going to be asked, you know what? Say 10 good things about your wife, and I can say them along with that. So while we are getting to scaling an enterprise, we also have to mention that we are one family, my company is one family. And when you are scaling these new heights, remember, you are awesome. Thank you.